All right, we're starting the video. So I want to help you through this performance task. I ask you to be quiet and participate when we can, but to help me through this so that you have a reference to go back to. We're going to read it through together, and I'm going to help you through the math required and maybe even some of the writing required in here. So Mr. Doggs has asked your company to design a seating plan for a new NHL arena. That would be a hockey rink. Currently, his team plays in a rink similar to the one below. So there's a picture of a hockey rink from Detroit. So create a proposal for Mr. Doggs, and your proposal must include the number of seats in the new arena, the layout of those seats, and the price he should charge for each seat. So let's start here. Mr. Doggs wants the number of seats in the arena to be between 18,000 and 22,500. One ring of seats all the way around the rink is considered a row. So let's start there. Some of you have never been to a hockey game in your life. So that's okay. Maybe one day you'll go.
I went to one.
Good.
I like hockey.
So a hockey rink kind of looks... A hockey rink kind of looks... You need to listen. A hockey rink kind of looks like an oval. You have a center ice. You have blue lines. You have face-off dots. That's what they're called. You have a hockey goalie on one end and a hockey goalie on the other end. Now, when you talk about the first row for arena, those are the seats that go all the way around the arena on the first row. So it's going to make like an oval that goes all the way around. So in order to know how many seats will be in your arena, because the task is to design a hockey arena for Mr. Doggs, I need a sense of how many seats should be around that rink for an NHL rink. Now I'm going to do some work for you to save you time. What you could do is go online and actually do research and look at hockey rinks and count how many seats form around the first row. I'm going to do that work for you. So I looked at two arenas for you. One is called the Honda Center. The Honda Center is where the Ducks play out of. That's in Anaheim. When I counted all the seats around there, when I went all the way around the first row, I counted 278. The second thing I had to count is the first row is 278, but how many rows are there to get to the very top of the arena, right? I counted that too. In the Honda Center, there are 40 rows. If you count from right where the ice is all the way up to the very top where the rafters are, there are 40 rows altogether. That's two things I need. I looked at another arena. I looked at TD Garden. TD Garden is where the Celtics and Bruins play. So the Boston Bruins play in that arena. When I counted around for that arena, what I noticed is that there were 290 seats in the first row. And when I counted all the way up, there were 43 rows. Then I looked at other arenas, whether it's Vancouver, Detroit, Toronto, Montreal, all these places at hockey rinks. This is what I noticed, that for the number of seats in the first row, they were all between 270 and 300. So no matter what rink I picked, it was in between those numbers. For this assignment, that's going to be your A1 when we do our math. So what I need you to do, because you are designing an arena, what I need you to do right now is to pick a number between 270 and 300. There is no wrong answer, other than you not doing what I just told you to do. Pick a number between 270 and 300 and write it down. So if I said this, Serena, what number did you pick between 270 and 300?
280.
Perfect. If I said Manuel, what number did you pick? What did you pick? 283. That's perfect. Osmond? 300. Perfect. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to pick a number, but you can't pick the same number I'm picking. I know. So, if you have the same number, but if you hand in the work and it's the same number as I'm doing, then I'm not going to give you credit because then you just copied what I did. Then you got to change it to a different number, even if that's your favorite. Okay, so in my hockey arena, I'm going to have 290 seats that make the first row. You picked a number between 270 and 300, and that's your arena, correct? I also looked in terms of the rows. Now, when I looked at the rows for a hockey arena, they were all between 38 and 45. When you use your formulas that you're going to use, that's going to be the N for your formulas. I need you to pick a number between 38 and 45. I am going to pick the number 42. You can't have both numbers the same, but I'll allow you to have one of them the same. You can always change what you write down. So right now for your arena, do you know how many seats are in your first row? This is also true for a basketball too, right? You could do the same idea. And how many rows go up to the top for yours? So Jaime, how many rows go up to the top for yours? 40. Perfect. So you picked a good number, right, in what I told you to do. Now, in this question, this assignment, it says that Mr. Doggs wants each row to go up with an arithmetic sequence. So that means that each row is always increasing by the same amount, okay? So now I'm going to do the last part they gave you, was how many seats are in the whole arena. Well, it actually already told you that we need to pick a number between 18,000 and 22,500. Can you think of a number between that? This is actually not going to be your AN. This is actually going to be your SN when you add up all the seats. So my sum for now, and this number is actually going to change. So right now I'm going to estimate what I want the arena to be. And when I do the math, it's going to be close to it, but not exactly that. So I'm going to pick my arena is going to have 21,000 people in it. You can pick any number between 18,000 and 22,500. I'd pick a number somewhere around in the middle somewhere. Try not to pick the ends. That gives you room when you actually do the math, because your arena won't be 21,000. I'm using that as a starting number, and then once we do the work, you'll see. So, step number 1. You have these numbers, correct? For your numbers. So I'm going to do the work with you, and you're also going to do the work with your numbers. So the first formula I'm going to write down is for an arithmetic series. This is the formula for an arithmetic series. Oh, it's not divided by n, it's divided by 2. Okay, so what do I not know that I need to know? Well, I need to know what D equals. Do I know what D equals right now? No. So, I'm going to remind me of the second formula as well. The first formula doesn't have D in it, but the second one does, right? So, do you see where AN is in the first formula? I'm going to replace it. I'm going to replace it. So instead of AN, what does AN equal? A1 plus D, n minus 1, and then divided by 2. So I took the formula I know, and I did a substitution, because I need to know what the common difference is going to be. I need to know how much is each row going to increase by in my arena. I don't know it yet. So, my arena, I'm going to estimate, is going to be about 21,000 seats in it. N, how many rows will be in my arena? I said there'll be about 42. A1, how many seats? Remember, you're not using my numbers. You're using your numbers. So, what did you write down? Use those numbers. A1, how many seats are in your first row? 290. I write it down twice. 290, 290. D is what I'm looking for. N, how many rows again do you have?
42.
Well, how many do you have, right? I have 42. Now, I'm going to help you solve for D. So, are you listening? So, first step. What's 42 divided by 2? You have a different number. Do you have 40 or 38 or 39? The first thing you should do is divide and make it into a decimal to make it easier for yourself. So when I divide, that number is 21. Where did I get 21 from? What did I do? The number in front divided by 2. What's your number in front? Right? Is anyone having a hard time knowing what number to put in front? Come to my desk. I'll show you quick. All right. I still have 21,000 here. Let's combine like terms inside. So, what's 290 plus 290? You have two different numbers. Can you add them together? When I go 290 plus 290, it's 580. What do you have? And 42 take away 1 is 41D. Do you know where 580 came from?
Yes.
Do you know where 41 came from? You use your numbers and keep following. The next step. What number is now in front of the parentheses?
21.
To undo that, I'm going to divide both sides by 21. So what am I dividing? What's 21,000 divided by 21? So for me, that number is 1,000. For you, it might be a decimal, and you're going to round to a whole number. You're not going to put a decimal down. Our D is going to be a whole number. Do you know where I got 1,000 from?
No.
21,000 divided by 21. What are your numbers that you're going to divide? When you go shift equals, can you round to a whole number? If you can't, come to my desk. I'll help you with rounding. We're almost there. What do I need to do next to get D by itself? Subtract. What am I going to subtract? 1,000. Subtract what? 580. What number am I? I'm going to write down 420.
420?
Yes.
Awesome.
Where did I get that number from?
From,
1,000. Take away 580. It's all being recorded. And if you really want to know my deep feelings, you know that my oldest daughter's birthday is on April 20th. So I have deep feelings towards how people abuse that number and how she's going to have to deal with that and people in her classroom that are ignorant and the whole bit, right? So for me, I take that number personally because I see my 4-year-old daughter who's so sweet and innocent, and when people abuse that number, I shake my head. So, my last step here. I'm going to divide by 41. So you use your numbers. Now, my answer, I can't have a decimal answer. Why can I not have a decimal answer? There's seats, right? Like I can't go up by like 9.8 seats every row or whatever. So for me, the approximate answer, you're going to round to the whole number. My common difference is actually going to be 10. That's why my actual number of seats in my arena is not going to be 21,000 when I do the math at the end. I use that as an estimate, but it's actually going to be different because now I know what my D is. Did you find what your common difference is?
Yeah. 11.
All right. So what we're going to do is, I'm listening.
So for the second, or for the very first step, you just divide 2 to 42,
That's right.
and that's it, right?
Yeah. Then I divide it again. 21,000 divided by 21. Then I subtract it, and then I divide it at the end again. Just simple, solving a simple equation. All right, I'm going to summarize what I know about my arena. I want you to do the same. My arena now has 290 seats in the first row. Do not copy my number. Use your one right there. My arena has 290 seats in the first row. My arena has 43 rows going up. No, sorry, not, did I say 43? 42. Thank you. My arena has 42 rows going up. My arena has an increase. So every row increases by 10 seats. Now, what I don't know, and I have to recalculate, is how many seats are in my arena now. So when I use 21,000, that was for an estimate, so I could see what D would be. But now that I know that every row is increasing by 10 seats, I have to recalculate to really find how many seats are in my arena. So how do I do that? The formula is this. What are you saying? I can't hear you. You're mumbling. Happy twins? Awesome. I agree. One day I hope you to be so blessed to have twins that you get to parent.
Hard, honestly.
Anything that's worthwhile, right, is probably difficult to do.
That's the thing I thought about.
It does cost a lot of money.
Do you know who's who?
Yeah, one's a boy and one's a girl. So when I see Joshua and Juliana, I know exactly who they are. So, now one thing I don't know for this formula that I need to find out is how many seats are in the last row of my arena. You know I haven't solved that yet? So I'm going to do that underneath. How many are in the last row? So that would be the 42nd row for me. So to find that, I'm going to use the formula A1 plus D and then N minus 1. So I'm going to use my calculator. 290, use your numbers. 290 plus 10, and then 42 take away 1. How many seats are in the last row?
Bless you.
But you think if they were girls, you still would have forgot music?
No. So, 700 seats for me are in the last row. So when I come back up to this formula, what number will I put in for AN? That number goes there. Again, I'm going to use my calculator. This will tell me how many seats are in my whole arena. This answer must be between 18,000 and 22,500. So for my arena, how many actual seats do I now have in my arena? 20,790. It adjusted a bit, right? After I knew what my common difference was. is that still between 18,000 and 22,500? So it's still, and if you look at most arenas, that's like a number that would be proper in terms of what you'd see most arenas at 20,790. If I go back to my assessment task, do you see those bullet points that you have to answer? Those are things you have to answer in your proposal. So when it says the number of seats in the first row, how can you write that as a sentence? There are how many seats?
290 seats in the first
That's
row.
right, 290 seats in the first row. What's the second one? So I'm going to say the arena will have how many rows?
42.
I can't even write over my stuff.
Each row will increase by how much?
10 seats.
How many seats are in the last row?
700 seats in the next row.
And the last bullet point there for the first section is what's the total number of seats in the arena?
20,790 seats.